Dear friends, today our world kneels before the memory of the millions of victims who died in the horrors of the Holocaust. Jews and many others were brutally murdered during the Shoah because of who they were, because of what they represented. Remembering how such evil ever came possible and making sure that it shall never happen again are an absolute and constant necessity. Duty of remembrance on the one side, call to action on the other. Those two sides of the same coin are ever more needed today as the shadows of anti-Semitism are spreading their dreadful wings once again. Fighting against this poison first requires to understand how it came to once thrive and devour so many of our countries and society. That is why testimonies such as the one of Mrs. Radzikowska are so essential. That is why we must double down on our pledge to honor and keep alive the memory of the millions who perished or survived. But lofty words are not enough and need to be followed up with deeds. The world cannot stay idle as hate speech and violent acts are growing louder once again. I commend in this regard the adoption by the UN General Assembly of a resolution condemning denial and distortion of the Holocaust 80 years after the Wannsee Conference, and urging all member states to actively engage in combating all forms of anti-Semitism. As Ambassador of France to Israel, I am proud to say that my country stands at the forefront of this fight through three clear lines of action. Education, with an aim at helping younger generations remember the past and break down stereotypes. Regulation, through a new bill to combat online hate speech and the adoption of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism that includes anti-Zionism. And sanctions, because hatred towards any community cannot be tolerated. Some extremist groups have been dissolved, and a network of specialized investigators and judges have been created. We will not let our guard down. Similar efforts are also undertaken at the European level. Since the start of the French presidency of the European Council in January, the EU Commission has been implementing its first ever comprehensive strategy on combating anti-Semitism and fostering Jewish life. From securing places of worship to strengthening our legal frameworks, nothing will be spared to fulfill our mission. As I conclude this message, I want to thank you all, ambassadors, elected officials, young professionals, activists, our citizens of the world, for answering this call from CAM, Combating Anti-Semitism Movement, and Zikaron Barcelona, and making this event happen. There is no doubt that together we can play our part in shaping a world in which the lessons of the Holocaust are taught and all human lives are valued. May the memory of all victims live on forever.